Hey, it's Monica with It's Just Sewing, and what might appear to be just a sweet pillowcase for a child ends up being so much more. This pillowcase not only is adorable and sweet and has absolutely no raw edges, but it also has a secret hidden zipper pouch that is connected. And what's so great about that is kids can put their treats and their notes to Santa or maybe worries that they have during the day can be tucked away and they can sleep on it, or maybe we want to put a few teeth in there for the tooth fairy. Sky's the limit on what they can put in their little zippered pouch, but it is sure to be fun, and I am going to show you how to make it today. So here's the supplies that you're going to need for your hidden pouch pillowcase. You're going to need the trim piece for your pillow, which is 1/4 yard, so that's 9 inches by 44 inches. I'm going to set that off to the side. Then you're going to need 3/4 yard for the body of the pillowcase, and that is 27 inches by 44 inches. So let's set that off to the side as well. Now for the actual hidden compartment, what I have is you can take a fat quarter and that will be plenty, or you can choose 2 different colors like we did today, but they're going to measure 20 inches long by 9 inches wide, and I've got a front and a lining and a polyester zipper. Now what we're going to start by doing is taking our hidden pouch fabrics, and we are going to cut them so that both the lining and the body have a 7-inch by 9-inch cut of fabric and a 13-inch by 9-inch cut of fabric. So here we go. So to install the zipper, the first thing that we want to do is we want to take our lining fabrics, and I'm going to start with my 7-inch pieces, and I'm going to lay my lining. Now this one's solid, but if you were actually going to have a pattern here, I would lay the pretty side facing up, and you're going to lay that down just like this. Put your zipper up to the top of that fabric, and then take your outer fabric and pretty side facing down, you are going to line it up so that the top fabric, the zipper, and the lining fabric are all meeting up at the top. And now we're going to go ahead and pin it all the way across. Once my lining, top, and zipper are all pinned together, I'm going to go ahead and take it over and I'm going to sew it on down. And what I do is I keep my needle positioned all the way over to the left, and then I hug the zipper, which the teeth should be facing up. I want those teeth to line up right next to that presser foot. Just keep it pushed really close. And if you haven't seen me install a zipper, we have our pleated zipper pouch tutorial, which talks about installing a zipper as well, and you can always look there for even more specifics. So let's go ahead and start by sewing on down. I'm going to give it a little back stitch. Okay, so it's all sewed, and I'm just going to open that up and take a peek. Oh, how cute is this? Now, if you are somebody who really likes things nice and pressed, you can press with your fingers, or you can always hit this over with the iron. But I'm going to go ahead and just give it a nice finger pressing. Okay, so now we're going to install the opposite side of the zipper. So same exact thing. I'm going to go ahead and put my lining fabric down. And again, if it was, not a solid, I would have my pretty side facing up. I'm going to go ahead and put the zipper. Again, teeth are facing up, so this is important, okay? I'm going to go ahead and line those up. So now we've got the zipper and the lining fabric, the larger lining fabric, are meeting up at the raw edge. And we're putting our pretty front down. So once again, all 3 pieces are lined up together, and we're going to go ahead and pin them all down and sew them just like we did the other side. Okay, so to turn this into a flat zippered pouch where a child could actually lay their head on it and not feel the bulk, we want to make sure that that stays flat. So what we're going to do is take our larger top fabric, and we're going to fold it until it meets up down here with the other fabrics, okay? So you'll see that there is quite a bit of fabric up above this side of the zipper, and then all of these become flush. Now what we're going to do is we can turn the other side I'm going to turn it around, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. So what we're going to do is fold this so that this raw edge lines up with these raw edges down here, and all of these ones with the fold are up above this side of the zipper, okay? Ooh, I didn't say this before. Ooh, would have messed up. You're going to open this up and take your zipper about halfway or more down, not in the line of the sewing area, but what you want to do is make sure you have enough room so that you can actually pull your zippered pouch inside out. If you'd forgotten that, it would have been a total disaster. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pin along here, and then I'm going to sew these two sides. Okay, both sides are pinned and I'm ready to sew, and I would give myself about a 5/8 inch seam allowance. Be generous with that seam allowance because they're not hiding tons of stuff. It doesn't have to be really huge, and so we can allot for a little bit more of a seam allowance. All right, so now that I've sewn the two sides down, I actually cut with a pair of scissors I didn't care about that are not dedicated to fabric. I went ahead and I cut the polyester zippers so that they're now flush with the edges of the fabric. Now what I want to do is I only want to put my hand in between the two top fabrics, or the ones that are going to be on the outside. And these are the ones I'm going to flip. So you'll have the green fabrics that are the lining down in here, but the ones that we really want to flip are the two pieces that are the outer lining, so the front and the back of the pouch. There you go! Oh, there's our little flat zippered pouch. Now, I know as well as you know that if I put anything in there, it's just going to fall right out. And that is why the next thing we're going to do is attach this and insert it into the lining so that it becomes part of the pillowcase, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. Okay, so to put this all together, what I did is I took my trim piece that's going to be the trim of my pillowcase, and I went ahead and gave it a nice press. So now instead of it being 9 by 44 inches, it's 4.5 by 44 inches. Now I'm going to go ahead and open that back up, and I want the fold to be coming upward. Then I am going to take the body of my pillowcase, and I'm going to put the pretty sides down, and I want those to touch up here parallel with the upper part of the trim piece. Now, in order to make the hidden pouch on the inside of the fabric, what you need to do is now put your hidden pouch where the raw edges are, and you want to pick either one side or the other, not smack dab in the middle. That will not work. So what you're going to do is you're going to just take your zippered pouch and put all those raw edges up, and they're meeting up with all of those other raw edges up here. And I always do it with the zipper facing up. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm just putting this right into place right now because we're going to do something in a second that might shift that. So then you are going to take your fabric and start creating the sushi roll. Okay, so really tightly, and notice that my zippered pouch is now wrapping into the sushi roll as well. Okay, so there, I got a nice tight, make sure it is a tight little sushi roll, okay? None of your bits falling out, because that does not want it, we don't want that to get sewn into our fabrics. All right, now I'm bringing this green part around, and it is going to meet up with those top raw edges. And I am going to take this and I'm going to pin all the way down on both sides. And then I'm going to sew it with a 5/8 inch seam allowance. And the most important thing is make sure when you sew it that your insides don't get sewn on your edge of fabric. Okay, so my seams are now all sewn on this side. So now I just need to grab my insides and pull them out. So you want to flip that one and just keep on pulling. Okay, so there you go. We have our body fabric and our lining with absolutely no exposed seams, so no raw edges are showing. And if you turn it over, we have our lovely zippered pouch. And it is also connected, so it's not going anywhere, and it's ready to put lovely little treasures in it. Okay, so now it's time to actually complete the pillowcase. So we need to bring our fabrics together. And I trim up, or I line up my two trim pieces right up here and give it a nice press. And then I'm going to have those touch with the raw edges at the foot of the pillowcase. And I'm going to cut off all of this extra salvage and awkward, uneven fabrics. So there you go. Put that off to the side. Okay, so in order to get a French seam, the first thing that I want to do is I want to put my raw sides together and line up the edge of this side as well as this side. And I'm going to go ahead and sew, starting here, starting in this upper trim area with a 1/4 inch or less seam allowance. We want that seam allowance to be really tiny. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so now that my seam allowance is really itsy bitsy and I've sewn all the way along the perimeter of those 2 raw edges, what I want to do is I want to flip it inside out, and then I am going to take it on over to my iron, and I am going to press these 2 sides where there's open seam or where there's seams. I want to open them up and I want to give them a nice press so it's nice and flush, and then I am going to fold them so that they are really, really crisp and all of the frayed edges are tucked as tight up as possible. All right, so I am ready to sew. This is my final step in my hidden pouch pillowcase. So I went ahead and ironed it flat, and now I'm going to sew at a 5/8 inch seam allowance all the way down and all the way down. Make sure to reinforce on the front end and the back end. Okay, let's do this. All right, so I'm all done and I turned it inside out. All of the seams look fantastic. There is not a raw edge in sight, and the best part is this isn't just a super sweet pillowcase, it's a super sweet stowaway pillowcase with a fabulous zippered pouch. I hope you guys love this tutorial. I just think it is so fun, and I hope that you make it for somebody very special and they have lots of special things to put inside. Bye!